You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. We start with new information from the White House. The Deputy Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement has told the Washington Post the Trump administration is seeking to grant immigration officers access to restricted information on hundreds of thousands of immigrant teens and kids who came to the U.S. without their parents.
And that news following an announcement that tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada will go into effect tomorrow. The president's press secretary confirmed all of this earlier today. This means a 25% tariff on both Mexico and Canada. These are the two biggest trading partners of the U.S. The U.S. will implement a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl they have, quote, sourced and allowed to distribute into our country. We will get more into how this could impact you later on Live at 4.
And for now, let's go outside for our first word forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Are you enjoying the sunshine out there?
It is very nice out here. Not as warm as yesterday, but still very mild considering we're in the 40s and we should be in the upper 20s. So for folks who really like this early taste of spring, enjoy it while it is still here. It's 50 in Boscobel, 44 in Viroqua, 43 in the Dells, 38 there in Juneau, 36 up in Fond du Lac. Winds are coming off of Lake Michigan, so closer to the lake is obviously going to be a little bit cooler than, say, folks further south and west. And you can see that here over the last 24 hours. More of that temperature has changed closer to Green Bay, Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, Manitowoc than, say, in Platteville, where we're only about 8 degrees cooler than yesterday compared to 18 degrees cooler than the same time yesterday in Sheboygan. Tonight we are going to be quiet. We're going to hang out underneath mostly clear conditions in those upper teens to low to mid 20s. We are expecting a little bit more activity and cloud cover as we head into your Saturday and Sunday. Sunday could be another mild day, but we're going to talk about why that may not happen depending on some circumstances, and we'll also talk about maybe if there's any more snow in the forecast. That's coming up later on in this half hour.
Thanks, Blaze. And due to the drier than normal weather, all of south and central Wisconsin is under a moderate fire danger. Now, the Fitchburg Fire Department says it will temporarily suspend issuing burn permits. All outside open burning is prohibited until further notice.
Well, less than a month before the primary, 3 candidates are in the race to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction's top official. The state superintendent oversees public education across the state. Our Ellie LaLiberte is profiling all of these candidates so you know what the future of Wisconsin education could look like.
State superintendent is a job that comes up every 4 years. 3 candidates are vying for that spot. Incumbent Jill Underly, education consultant Brittany Kinzer, and Sauk Prairie Superintendent Jeff Wright. Today I sat down with Wright to learn about his platform for the future of Wisconsin education. Wright's campaign largely centers around what he calls, quote, mending relationships between DPI and the state's Republican-controlled legislature and Democratic governor, noting his background in Purple Sauk County.
It's hard to find another county that has that sort of balance politically, but as a superintendent, I have to make sure that everybody feels welcomed at the table because our community is so evenly split politically. And so is our state. I think that we want education to be a nonpartisan topic.
Like Kinzer, Wright is critical of the current DPI administration's move to lower cut scores in 2024.
My pushback is also on the timing of this. We really need to know whether or not our students are back on track after the pandemic, and that requires a consistent standard year to year.
Wright also notes that both the governor and legislature have spoken against the move to lower testing standards, circling back to his belief that the relationships between the agencies needs to be fixed. The field narrows to 2 candidates in the February 18th primary. Voters will make a final decision on April 1st.
And if you would like to see Ellie's other profiles, you can visit channel3000.com. Just go to the tab 3 for the People, Election 2025.
As we approach the 10-year anniversary of the Supreme Court decision that legalized same-sex marriage, House Republicans in Idaho are asking the justices to take it up again. When writing his opinion on the Dobbs ruling, Justice Clarence Thomas expressed interest in revisiting the 2015 Obergefell decision. In addition to Thomas, Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Samuel Alito broke with the then liberal majority's opinion. In his dissent, Chief Justice Roberts made accusations of illegitimacy and partisan politics at the expense of the law. It would only take one more vote for the court to take up the case again, something UW professor Howard Schwaber says is likely.
This is something we've all been waiting for since the Dobbs decision that overturned Roe. Because the way that decision was written, it was not limited to the question of abortion. It was a full frontal attack on the legitimacy of a whole category of rights relating to the right to privacy.
In its decision, the then liberal court argued that right to privacy granted legitimacy to same-sex marriages. If the now conservative majority was to review the case and reverse the decision, the question before millions of Americans would be, what does this do to their marriages? Schwaber says a decision to overturn Obergefell may make same-sex marriage similar to age limits. In the U.S., one state where the legal marriage age is older than another does not have to recognize a marriage that doesn't comply with its law.
It would make life much more complicated for same-sex couples in terms of thinking where to live and where to move. I think it's a leap and a difficult one to assume that any development in this area would retroactively undo existing marriages.
If Obergefell is overturned, we could end up seeing the same fight that's happening with abortion, in which it's left up to state lawmakers and the courts.
Well, next on Live at 4, the FDA approving a painkiller that is not addictive. We'll tell you how much it costs, though.
And the newest information we have into the crash between an Army jet and a passenger plane that killed dozens of people.
Welcome back, everyone. In the coming days, the Trump administration plans to fire FBI agents who investigated him. Officials are working to identify individual employees who worked on those investigations for possible termination. The terminations would deliver a major blow to the historic independence that the FBI has had from the White House. This comes just days after a mass firing at the Justice Department. Prosecutors who worked on former special counsel Jack Smith's criminal investigation into the president were also let go.
Well, new video shows a clearer angle of the deadly collision between an Army helicopter and a passenger plane that killed 67 people. And now authorities are talking about making changes to helicopter routes at Reagan National Airport. The Federal Aviation Administration has indefinitely shut down the path those planes were on. The halt comes, as we've learned, just a day before the crash. Another flight was forced to abort its landing after a helicopter flew near its path. The National Transportation Safety Board says it's recovered the flight's black boxes. We're expecting to hear from the NTSB at a news conference later on during Live at 4, and we will bring you there as soon as it's live.
A new non-addictive painkiller will be available soon. Experts say this could save lives, but the drug will be much more expensive than the highly addictive painkillers. The FDA approved Jornvax, a 50-milligram prescription pill. The drug maker says it doesn't lead to any high like opioids can. It can be prescribed for short-term pain that often comes with things like surgery or injuries. The wholesale cost will be about $16 per pill compared to opioid generics, which are available for $1 or less.
And let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Blaise Keller. What's good, Blaise?
Well, we are looking at a quiet Friday night, but the weekend we are anticipating that mix to return. And then next week we're going to be more seasonal, back into those 20s and a few 30s here and there as we continue to make our way through your winter. So future track is looking pretty quiet as we go into the overnight hours. A high pressure system is going to be overhead, and as it moves off towards the east, it's going to make room for that system that could bring us some of that wintry mix chance as we go further into your Saturday and then overnight into early Sunday. You're seeing that there. That low pressure system is going to continue to move its way eastward as we go throughout your Sunday. Sunday could be another mild day. The problem may, though, be the cloud cover and how long it sticks around for. So let's walk future track through Saturday first. As we go throughout the day, cloud cover is going to be increasing. Maybe some pockets of sunshine through at least the early afternoon, but then by the mid-afternoon, we are anticipating that overcast sky condition along with that chance for that wintry mix as we go overnight into early Sunday. As we step into the morning hours Sunday, when most of us are waking up, we're going to pause it right around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. If we want to get into those upper 40s, if not the low 50s again, we would want these clouds to be out of here by about 11 and no later, because we need that heat to build as we go into the late morning through the early afternoon. We're not in spring or summer yet, so we're really capitalizing, or we need to capitalize on as much heat and sunshine as we can because our sun is at a lower angle. So if we keep the cloud cover around for a little bit longer there on Sunday, we may hang out more or less in those mid 40s and the mid to upper 40s to low 50s. With that mix coming through Saturday into early Sunday, most of us are looking at probably less than an inch, but some folks along the Lake Michigan shoreline could pick up, upwards maybe an inch of snow. This is going to be a quick moving little clipper system. And unfortunately, it comes as we wrap up January. This has been Madison's 5th least snowiest January on record. We had been sitting underneath a snow drought, more or less. We didn't even pick up 2 inches of snow in the Madison area. Some folks in Wisconsin only picked up 2 to 5% of their normal January snowfall. So we have a whole write-up on our latest Beyond the Barometer about what a snow drought is and what the lack of a snowpack especially could mean as we go into the coming months, spring and summer. There was a look at your 10-day forecast. We're back into more seasonal temperatures as we go into next week with near daily chances for either a wintry mix or light flurries and or light snow.
Thank you, Blaze. In the 608, it's the final day of our News 3 Now community baby shower.
Josh Spreiter is on Madison's east side with where donations stand right now and how you can still help.
We need help filling these bins here at Babies and Beyond off of Stoughton Road during our community baby shower. Brenda Collins is the executive director here at Babies and Beyond. Brenda, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So obviously this is the final day of this community baby drive, and you guys still need a lot of help because a lot of bins here are sitting empty because of how quickly you go through these.
Yeah. So just as quickly as those donations are coming in, they're going right out the door. So we're still open during this community baby shower.
And, you know, when you go through the warehouse here, obviously, you get the donations through the back, you start sorting them, and then you start putting them on shelves. You know, some sitting with donations, others sitting here empty. So kind of explain that process.
Yeah, so when those donations come in, we have volunteers that come in and we sort through those, and we store for the opposite season. So we've got those summer bins that are full, and then we sort and we store those for summer. But then as soon as those winter clothes come in, we're putting those out in the store so that clients can take those. So as soon as they're coming in, they're going out the door.
And obviously, we still have a lot of winter left, even though there's 50s right now that we've had this week.
Right.
A lot of winter left that these families need the proper accessories, the proper clothing.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of months left of winter, and so we need those supplies so that we can serve families properly.
And that goes to show just how, you know, you guys need this year round. You're here 365 days out of the year. We're doing this community baby shower this week, but you guys are always looking for donations.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we need those supplies. We're serving nearly 1,300 babies every single month. So we go through those bins of clothes. We're going through about 430 bins of clothes each and every month. So we need a lot of supplies.
One of the other things that you guys are always looking for, diapers. Of course, we have this diaper wall back here. This looks like a lot of diapers, but these go out the door pretty quickly.
Yeah, so this entire wall, we go through, when it's completely full, we go through this about once a week. We go through nearly 58,000 diapers every month.
58,000?
Yeah, so that's about 12 pallets worth of diapers every month.
Wow, so that just goes to show just why you need these donations all the time.
Yes, yeah, we need to constantly replenish these diapers. We need those donations. We need the community support. 1 in 2 families are struggling with diaper needs, so we have a lot of families that are coming to us looking to help fill in that gap, and that's why we're here.
So you accept those donations. You also have an Amazon wish list, which makes it pretty easy and convenient too.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're not able to come to us directly, you can shop our Amazon wish list and shop right from your home.
Awesome, Brenda. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Again, if you'd like to help out the News 3 Now community baby shower, our folks here at Babies and Beyond would love to see you. Just go to the story up on channel3000.com. Again, the shower ends today, but they're always looking for support year-round. In Madison, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you to everyone who helped us out. A Beaver Dam man is sharing his story of determination.
This is a great one. A few years ago, Jim Breitzman moved closer to his daughter's family so he could spend time with his granddaughter, Lainey. Jim, though, had suffered from bad knee pain for 3 decades, and after his move, that knee pain became even more of an issue. Doctors told him he needed both of his knees replaced. However, due to his weight, he wasn't eligible for surgery. After unsuccessful bariatric surgery, Jim reached out to UW Health for help, and that kicked off a 2-year-long journey to lose 170 pounds, and he was finally able to get his knees replaced last fall.
I'm feeling awesome. I can't explain the way I feel after 30 years of knee pain and arthritis in my knees and not being able to, or not have to walk with a cane, not go like 2 miles an hour to get to things, and it's great.
Congrats to him. Jim says he can now do more activities, as you can see with his sweet granddaughter. And he said he's going to have the type of active summer he hasn't had for the past 25 years.
And I bet she keeps him busy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chasing her around.
Well, Damian Lillard will be the reserve for the 74th NBA All-Star Game next month.
Yep, this marks Lillard's second All-Star Game nod in a row and the 9th overall in his career. During his second season with the Bucks, Lillard, am I saying his name or is it Lillard?
Lillard.
Anyway, Lillard averaged 25 points, 7 assists per game. He scored more than 20 points per game, 31 times, 30 points 10 times. Whew. Well, anyway, he'll be joining his teammate, the famous Giannis. The game tips off at 7 o'clock our time in San Francisco on February 16th. Keep up with that.
Woo, new sports reporter. Well, you can watch Lillard in action tonight when the Bucks take on the San Antonio Spurs. The game tips off at 7, and you can watch on our sister channel, Television Wisconsin. That's channel 3.2.
And coming up on Live at 4, an alarming trend of anti-Semitism.
How UW-Madison's Jewish community is fighting the hate with joy when we come back.
Welcome back, everyone. Around the world, anti-Semitism is increasing, unfortunately. The Anti-Defamation League has a new survey out showing nearly half of adults across the world harbor deeply entrenched anti-Semitic attitudes.
Well, this alarming trend led by younger generations. And joining us now to talk about how young Jewish people in Madison are fighting that, Aaron Seligman, the UW-Hillel's Director of Community Relations. Thanks for being on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we mentioned, that is a very alarming trend. So what does the group do to uplift students?
Yeah, so first thing we do is as Hillel, we are on campus. We are there as a safe and welcoming place. We know that, students are here on campus to learn and to grow and to explore their, what are their academic interests, what are their social interests, and to have a place where they can do that, where they can bring their full identity and be safe and welcome to do that.
And I know you mentioned at the break before we had you on that you have an example, but I also know and am familiar with the fact that UW-Madison is one of the top 10 universities for Jewish students. So that's a large population of individuals that we're trying to protect here.
Right, and it's great that we can have that sort of large community come together, but we've certainly seen examples since October 7th of students being either identified, whether they're in a restaurant, in class, or somewhere on campus, being asked to defend policies or actions of a military or of a government, in some other part of the world that really they don't have any personal responsibility for or agency around. And so being called out to take a position when we have students, and part of having a really large population on campus means we have students of all different viewpoints, and we welcome that, or they may have no viewpoint on foreign affairs, on local things. How they express their Judaism and their traditions can really vary, and they're all welcome with us.
Yeah. When you get into this mode of, wanting to, protect students and speak out for yourselves, it can be, you can be in a very, in a fight mode, but you also do a lot of work to promote joy. What are some of the activities that students can find for those purposes?
Yeah, so tonight, it's Friday night, so we have Shabbat dinner, and we welcome, again, all students are welcome. We have a great Adama cafe that makes the food for it. I'm actually not sure what's on the menu tonight, but
surprise.
Come at 7 o'clock. Services at 6. So we have those and holidays and other kind of cultural events. We also have a lot of kind of learning cohorts and small groups, whether it's for seniors or students who are kind of just exploring what does my identity look like when I'm out and making the decisions for myself. We have internship and leadership opportunities. We have a cooking group. We have a basketball court. Students just to have that kind of community and come together in a lot of fun ways. Some maybe more traditional, a lot of innovative ones, and we're always trying something new.
And how do you get the word out to that population? I imagine there are so many students you want to touch and help and let them know you're there.
Yep, and so we're right on Langdon Street, so hopefully we're in a visible and accessible spot. But reaching people, as in traditional media, there's social media things, there's flyers, and it's a lot of peers, and having that reputation of yes, we are a place where a lot of students have come, and so they have siblings and family members, and there is a lot of Badger pride in both the university and in telling them, hey, I had a great experience as a Jewish student here, and encouraging others to come.
You know, one thing that always strikes me, and when we've interviewed Jewish students on campus, when horrible things are happening, you know, they've expressed that they turn to their community and fellow students, and they know that they're not alone. Does that make you proud when you hear something like that?
Yeah, it does, and that's also, you know, another reason why we're here, and, you know, part of my role about being out in the community and building those relationships so that we have allies and we can be allies to other groups when horrible things happen, and good things that we can celebrate with other groups and be there to support them as well. So it's a really great part of being part of this community here.
Yeah. Right, and given what we were talking about, too much anti-Semitism, have you seen students who are not Jewish kind of stepping up and participating too?
For sure, and we've seen a lot of students who are interested, and you know, part of, again, our kind of role is to create an environment where people feel comfortable expressing their solidarity, expressing their, you know, asking questions, having those discussions in a way that's safe and welcoming for all students.
Aaron, thanks for being on with us.
Yes, thank you
so
Aaron.
much.
Now I want to know what's on the menu tonight.
I know.
I think there's like a seared tofu, a chicken, an Israeli salad. I forget what the starch option is, but.
Well, you're going to have to tell us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
Coming up next on Live at 4, how Wall Street responded to the confirmation of tomorrow's tariffs.
And what experts say it could do to consumer costs. We'll be right back.
Watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, Blaze said it's not as warm as yesterday, but nice day to get out on the bike, do some running, some walking.
It's still beautiful when you see the sunshine.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
January 31st. Who would have thought?
I know. And Blaze is out on the weather patio, I think. Oh, lucky guy.
Yes, it is. It's still very nice outside. Considering we should be in the upper 20s, we are in the low 40s right now. Bosco Bell, we were at 50. We still are at this hour. 47 to our north and to our south in Lone Rock and Prairie du Chien. 37 in Waukesha, 36 in Milwaukee. A little bit cooler closer to the lake because you're seeing those arrows on your screen. The winds are coming out of the north and out off of Lake Michigan, where they have a little bit more snow on the ground, or they're coming off of the cool waters of Lake Michigan. Over the last few hours, our cloud cover has been decreasing across southern Wisconsin, but it's beginning to move back in out of the north. So we are anticipating some mostly clear conditions as we go overnight to end your work week. We are anticipating more cloud cover, though, for your Saturday, as well as a chance for a light rain snow mix. We'll hang out in the teens to 20s as we go into your overnight hours. We're going to track out that weekend wintry mix, as well as talk about what temperatures we can expect as we move into the first few weeks of February. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Blaze.
Well, we've just learned the press conference from the NTSB that we mentioned on the deadly crash in the Potomac is postponed. We will keep providing updates, though, with any new information that we get right here on News 3 Now. Tomorrow, President Donald Trump will impose tariffs, forcing U.S. companies to pay extra to the Treasury for buying foreign imports. White House press secretary says the U.S. will put a 10% tariff on China and 25% on Mexico and Canada, our two biggest trade partners. Many economists say tariffs usually lead to higher prices for people. For example, some experts say the cost of a new car could shoot up thousands of dollars, but they could help American producers by pressuring American companies to buy from them instead. It remains unclear whether the tariffs will apply to oil imports or if there will be any exemptions. Now, Wall Street had a strong reaction to that news. U.S. stocks surrendered their early gains and turned negative after the White House announcement. The Dow lost 337 points, NASDAQ lost 54, and the S&P there lost 31.
A man convicted in a deadly crash in Rock County faces up to 15 years in prison. A jury found 51-year-old Mark McCoy guilty of second-degree reckless homicide and negligent homicide by operation of a motor vehicle. In April 2023, McCoy crossed the center line while driving north on South County Road D near West Hanover Road. He hit 55-year-old Susan Homan's car, killing her. McCoy was allegedly under the influence when he crashed. The jury did not find him guilty, though, on a charge charge of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. McCoy remains in Rock County Jail until his sentencing in March.
In Dodge County, a 32-year-old man is in custody after causing a crash that killed one and injured 5 more people. The Dodge County Sheriff says the 32-year-old failed to stop at a stop sign at the intersection of County Highways A and B in the town of Beaver Dam. That driver T-boned a Cadillac Escalade. A 35-year-old man and 39-year-old woman from Fox Lake in that Escalade suffered serious injuries and are still hospitalized. Their 3 children suffered minor injuries. The suspect driver was seriously injured and is recovering. His passenger died from injuries at the scene. Charges he's facing include homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle and operating a motor vehicle without owner's consent.
The Sheriff's Office is also revealing new information today about the immigration status of those involved. Armand Rahman sat down with the Dodge County Sheriff and has a story.
This was the scene of a fatal crash Sunday, which the Dodge County Sheriff's Office says took the life of the suspect driver's passenger. A mother and father in the car that was hit were sent to a trauma center with serious injuries. Authorities say the 32-year-old suspect allegedly stole the pickup truck from his employer, South State Contractors Incorporated, drove under the influence, blew a stop sign, did not have a valid driver's license, and as Sheriff Dale Schmidt revealed Friday.
On top of that, we've been informed by ICE that he's not here legally. And this isn't his first run-in or deportation that's taking place. So immigration is working that portion of it. We are going to be holding him in our jail on those charges, and we will work out all of this, but none of this should have happened. And there were so many things that led up to this where that individual shouldn't have been here in the first place, shouldn't have been in that situation.
The sheriff also revealed that the passenger of the truck was undocumented. I spoke to a law expert at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He says when law enforcement at the county or local level arrests someone who's been fingerprinted for a different crime or has a warrant, immigration status can come up. Hear more from him at 6 about how common it is for law enforcement to announce that and what the statistics say about crimes committed by migrants versus citizens. Sheriff Dale Schmidt says the suspect will likely be booked into the Dodge County Jail this weekend. Reporting in Dodge County, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
The sheriff also revealed today that the suspect in another incident, a stabbing that occurred Tuesday, was also undocumented.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, we'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. Many of our area food pantries have seen triple the need from only 3 years ago, and it's getting worse.
And at the same time, homelessness across the country is at an all-time high. And then we have the current situation of chaos and uncertainty over where funds will come from or if they'll be cut.
And joining us now is Ellen Carlson. She's the executive director of Way Forward Resources in Middleton. Now, Way Forward is a food pantry, but also you're taking on housing, and I know that's been top of mind.
Yeah, our housing stability programs are a really big piece of what we do.
And so tell me about that. I know that you said there was a long waiting list and what's going to happen with those funds and the chaos element of it.
Yeah, a lot of chaos. So we have a couple different housing programs, but one of the housing programs we have works with people who are in a form of homelessness called doubled up. People who are doubled up are living with other people, but they don't have stable housing. So we have been receiving funds for that program through the county for a while and plan to into the next year. And of course, right now, there's a lot of question marks as to what that might look like, and that makes it hard for us to plan.
How much federal funding do you require or do you rely on?
Yeah, so we have a lot of individuals and grants who support our programs, but that specific program, we get hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And through our food pantry, we also get federal commodities. So a piece of that is about 7% of what we bring in. But given how many people are using our services these days, that 7% of food is really important to us.
And from what I understand, you have lines of people waiting outside.
We do.
And you had to start to limit more of what they can take.
Yeah, the need throughout Dane County and really throughout the state and the United States has grown tremendously. So we're already doing our best to meet the need as best as we can. So the chaos and uncertainty of whether or not we're going to have these really makes a really big impact on our organization and our communities.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of concern, of course, over SNAP benefits and how that affects people. And so what are you watching out for there?
We're watching to see what happens with that program. There seems to be some question as to whether or not that program is going to continue at the rate that it is. If they reduce the funds available for people through that program or who's eligible, we anticipate we're going to see even more people in line at the food pantry.
Oh, yikes. So what can people do? I know that's kind of an obvious answer, but there are so many people out there going, well, what can we do? How can we we serve the community.
Absolutely. So we're trying to stay really focused on continuing to do all the services that we can at the level that we can. So people contacting us, bringing in food, donating dollars will really help us continue in these uncertain times. And I think, following what's going on in the community and just being really locked into how it is that we can continue to help people is really important.
Before we go to break, is there a website people can check out?
Yes, wayforwardresources.org.
Very good.
Yes.
Can't say that enough, of course.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Great to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
And we are anticipating a little wintry mix to move through the area starting later Saturday, overnight into early Sunday. We're looking at about an inch or less. And I think most of us are probably going to hang out under the inch mark, probably looking at about a half an inch or less. This is not a big system. It's not an organized system, but it is going to bring us that wintry mix as we go overnight Saturday into Sunday. Tonight, though, we are going to be quiet, mostly clear, teens to low to mid 20s, and then we'll rebound back into those 30s as we go into your Saturday. That rain snow mix beginning later in the day. So a lot of us further east will probably be dry throughout the day, but cloudy on Saturday. Groundhog Day on Sunday could be mild if we clear out the clouds sooner rather than later. Then we're back in the 30s and 20s next week. Live at 4. We'll be right back.
On the next Live at 4, Will Loper reviews this weekend's films at the box office. And later on News 3 Now at 6, Wisconsin's figure skating community is reacting to that tragic plane crash in the Potomac. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We hope to see you right back here on Monday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.